topic of nuisance wild turkeys has become prominent in a lot of social media these days, and it's not unexpected. The turkey population has been expanding greatly over the last several decades, and turkeys are moving more into urban areas. What can you tell us about is the turkey becoming a nuisance bird, and what can people do if they do have a nuisance situation?
I don't think anybody in the early part of the turkey reintroduction in Illinois ever expected that we would have a situation where we're experiencing nuisance turkeys or the appearance that there are too many turkeys. Um, I can tell you some folks who are experiencing nuisance turkeys will say it's an overpopulation. I can almost assure you that that's not the case. We usually don't have an overpopulation of turkeys. Usually, almost every time that there is a complaint about nuisance turkeys, we can point our finger at someone providing food for them, whether that be intentional or non intentional. Particularly around large cities or suburban areas, we've seen folks put out a lot of corn on the ground for turkeys, and it can be deliberate like that, or they can just have an open pan bird feeder that turkeys can readily get to, and that grain is being spread out on the ground. And so, as turkeys start to associate humans with food resources, they tend to lose their fear of them, and many times they can just be docile and just tolerate the presence of humans. But as the breeding season commences, toms may see humans as threats, and that's where a nuisance turkey can really become a problem, is if they're acting aggressive towards people. So the number one thing folks can do to reduce their nuisance turkey situation is to remove all food, and make sure, if you have to have a bird feeder out, it's ideal to remove all food altogether, all bird feeders. But however, if you're going to keep a bird feeder out, it's best to make sure that that feed is all contained, it's excluded from squirrels, and it's out of reach from turkeys. um, Another thing you can do, if you've removed the food resources, but maybe the folks in your neighborhood have not, and turkeys are still hanging around, is let them know that you're not to be trifled with, so to speak. So make yourself seem like a threat to turkeys. Um, Hoses work, sprinklers. You can use scarecrows, but if you've got to push a turkey away with a broom or something like that, to where you're not necessarily trying to injure the bird, but anything to show them that you mean business, and that you can be a threat to them, is a good thing to get them away. But we take calls quite a bit from nuisance turkeys, and so yeah, if you've got a situation that you don't feel that you can handle yourself, you should always contact your local district wildlife biologist, and they will work out a plan, typically with myself, local law enforcement, that being the local police or the conservation police. And sometimes we will also get the USDA Wildlife Services staff involved as well, because they've got a lot of experience at deterring nuisance animals. As a last ditch effort, we do have the authority to remove nuisance turkeys, whether that just being trapping and relocating. But most of the time, if we're going to have to lay our hands on a turkey, we're going to need to euthanize that bird, because wherever we move it, it's going to go on and be a threat somewhere else. And so we really try to eliminate all other avenues before we go down that road. And so, like I said, number one is removing the food resources. And number two is letting those birds know that they're not welcome, and perceiving yourself as a threat.